What is up, everybody? It is the Oracle at Motion bringing a self acceptance spread to all of my fire signs. I just want to also take the time to say Happy New Year's, people. If you haven't had the opportunity yet to check out my New Year readings for each of the signs and also one for the collective, I highly suggest that you look for them on my YouTube channel or that you check them out on the podcasting platform of your choice. And with that, I'm going to get into this reading for you. So, fire signs, your oracle card that comes up is Decrease. And I think that being fiery and really pushing forward all the time can be substantially great, but we have to honor natural cycles. And it being winter time, right now it is kind of the natural cycle of chill out and hibernate somewhat. So we really need to bring that into mind. And some of the key points of this card that is here, which is Decrease, by the way, decrease your actions, is decline, cutting back, frugality, contraction, letting go, less is more, resourcefulness, a sacrifice. So sometimes putting all your effort into everything and trying so hard to control and create and establish things is actually what creates the destruction that we're so consciously trying to avoid. So all of these cards here have these I Ching numbers there. So I tossed the coins to see what the changes were, and the change from this for you came up as peace. Well, I had this backwards actually. Peace was the first card, and then it changed to decrease. I apologize about that. So another thing with fire signs is because we're always go, 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 finding peace can be hard to establish. And decrease ties into peace anyhow. It's interesting how these cards are laid out. So peace is kind of going to be this balance of opposites. So if you're fiery all the time, you have to try to cultivate as much peace in your life as you do aggressiveness to actually be in a good place. And the key components of this card are harmony, balance, perfection, equipoise, a sense of well-being, favorable conditions, and expansion. So fire signs, when you kind of cultivate this peace and decrease in your life, you're actually going to be able to accomplish more than if you try to push through. And I just want to take a moment for you to look at the colors of all of these cards. So there's a lot of different shades of blue and there's some green. So green's relative to the heart chakra. The lighter blue is kind of finding more peace in your words, maybe speaking less and listening more. And then the other element of the blue is also third eye in some capacity and seeing things from a loftier perspective. Now, the sigil that I've made for you is allow, and this is stepping back, not always having to use that fiery, creative, driving force, and actually allowing the universe, your higher power, whatever you want to call it, to create things for you and recognize you don't always have to be the active force in your life to get what you want. And then I will show you this beautiful wire-wrapped pendant that I made. And this is citrine. Very pretty stone, very beautiful pendant. And I've been plugging away at the pendant, so in the near future on my other website, I will have a large selection of pendants for you to choose from if you so desire. And now I'm going to shuffle the cards and get into the self-acceptance reading. So one of the things that I want to take the time to do too is tell you to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to break 1,000 subs, if not more, this year. And I want you to be a part of that so you can not sleep on this and get in at the beginning. Get in on the ground level, people. One of the next things that I want to say is check out the description below. If you want a self-acceptance reading of your own, there will be a link there for you to order one. And if you just want to donate something because you resonate with what I share, the opportunity for you to do that is available there as well. Also, a link to my other podcast where I talk more about spiritual topics and I interview guests and all of that. There's going to be a lot of good information there for you. So check it out. I offer a lot of content and I'm always busy creating new stuff. So your first card, Fire Signs, is a message from yourself. And it's funny because the card was peace and all of this stuff. And your very first card is rest. So arrows in this deck is relative to swords in traditional tarot. And swords is about the mind. So as you can see, this person is kind of pierced by all of these arrows to where they're laying down. So sometimes fire signs can be so caught up in their mind and taking action on their thoughts that they will burn themselves out. But when you actually actively seek rest through peace and decrease, like these cards suggest, you're able to get into this metamorphosis stage like the butterfly and then transform. So think about this. We're in the winter right now, and prior to the winter, caterpillars really spent a lot of energy making their cocoon. So over this time, they could kind of gestate and then spring out anew come spring. So this is really where we want to be in our life right now, is making these transitions and getting ready for these changes. When you rest, you allow yourself to build up energy to take you to the next level of your existence. So that a message from your higher self, give yourself some rest. Also, allow yourself to rest. Allowing yourself to participate in some of the subtle joys of life is important. It's not all go, 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 just as much as it's not all sit on your ass all day. So the next card is who you think you are. And you got the 3 of arrows, jealousy. So I'm not going to take this so much as a broken heart. We're going to tap into the fire. And we're going to take it as almost this, how do I want to take that? How do I want to express it? Kind of like this force that can wash away the hardships of others and kind of trying to cover your own heartache and heartbreak and pain in the world through your own creativity, which isn't bad to some extent. But if we completely disconnect from our emotions, which we can do from the creative drive that is associated with fire, we lose some of ourselves along the way. And sometimes fire people can be so motivated that they ignore the subtle nuances of life and miss all of the beautiful new things that come from it. So the other element of this too is looking at these arrows again and understanding that arrows are relative to swords. Swords is relative to mind. Sometimes your mind kind of hurts your own heart, where you can be so set on something that you disrespect yourself by your own choices to push on through. So you really do need to practice more peace for yourself, decrease the demands that you put on yourself and fall into a better alignment with yourself, and allow yourself to be human, allow yourself to make mistakes, because that's how we all grow, and allow yourself to rest, to kind of transition through that. So who others think you are. 2 of stones comes up. Stones is relative to pentacles in this deck, and that's about the material world. And this is really, people think of you as this kind of disruptive, difficult person to deal with. And I don't know that it's so much that you're disruptive or things like that, but you have a very strong attitude towards what you want to accomplish, to the point where it can make other people uncomfortable because they're not maybe at the same level of awareness as you are, or they have a different vision and they don't know how to get about what they want, and they don't have the same amount of ambition as you do. So they'll use your ambition and desire to kind of view you in a negative light because it makes them feel better. So when we can cultivate peace and decrease in some of this, so the element of peace would be, first off, not always needing to push your way through. The next element of decrease would also be not needing to always involve other people or trample over other people. Here's one of the things. Not all of our ideas can be consistently good, and sometimes it's okay to let other people's ideas shine through. And part of having healthier relationships and getting along with other people is allowing them to participate in their life just as much as you are trying to do. There's a lot of wisdom in that, and it's not so bad that other people see you as this challenge of a person. It's just more so shining light to the fact that maybe you need to soften your edges a little bit. And then who you really are, the seer comes up. And this is really about this person with this great potential who has this great vision, who has all of this amazing capacity to really manifest their deepest desires and kind of can see the future if they follow through with stuff. But unless you're able to cultivate peace, decrease how much you're trying to do, allow some of it to come naturally, incorporate rest so you don't suffer burnout, give yourself peace with your own heart and decrease the amount of damage you do to yourself, step into peace with other people and decrease the amount of conflict that you have by always trying to get in your own way, and allow other people to have their own experience, your vision isn't going to come to life. So one of the things that we really need to remember is we aren't the only active force, and we need to allow other people to help us on our journeys. It's a frightening thing to do, but if we don't let other people in, we're not going to go as far. There's a saying, if you want to go quick, go it alone. If you want to go the distance, you have to have a team. And I butchered that phrase at the end, but you get the general concept of it. Your vision requires other people to be a part of it. So with that, I just want to say again, like this video if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to break 1,000 subscriptions this year easily. Get in on the bottom level while you can. Also, the next thing I would say is check out my other podcast, the Spiritual Phoenix podcast. That is also on YouTube, and it is also on other major podcasting platforms. Check out all the cool little who's-y what's-its in the description. There's a lot of links. You can get a reading. You can check out some other cool stuff. Just get involved, people. And also, ask me some questions. Leave some comments on these videos. I don't want to be talking to a void. Get involved. All right, fire signs. Peace.